we had some technical difficulties. Uh, this is another installment of Stop Losing, Start Trading. Hopefully, it's not gonna crash on us. But we're the weekly trading show where me and Rosalie, aka the Crypto Queen, are going over options trades, the markets as well, but ideas for anyone that wants to learn about options. The whole what we do is not financial advice, of course, but this is just for informational purposes. We want to make sure that people have a good understanding of what options are, and you're not obligated to trade, but this is all kind of a way for us to communicate how we see options. So not just perpetual options like Panoptic, but any options. There's something for everyone here, and hopefully you've been enjoying this. And then what we discuss here is we talk about it. The intern sometimes listens to us, and when they do, they've been quite successful over the past few weeks. But yeah, definitely not something that we want to having one trade. So enough filler. How are you doing today, Rosalie?
Good, good. Yeah, I'm doing well. I think over the weekend we saw some really nice upward price movements today as well.
I
I think it
took
was 28% on ETH. Yeah,
Was it?
I
I
think so.
I did not like. I tried sometimes just to disconnect fully, so not even looking at Slack. Barely any Twitter. I felt like over the weekend, but yeah, I think the market. It's good to take a break, but yeah, the markets did not. I mean, it's up a little bit now, but I think it's pretty stable. Um, Interesting. Yeah, I don't know if the Circle IPO or all of the upcoming maybe IPOs will have an impact on trading. People could allocate to these other companies. Now it's just Coinbase, maybe, and a few others. Now they could allocate to all of the crypto focused IPOs. That could be one way. But yeah, I'm also kind of, oh yeah, Bitcoin is going up. Let's have look at the markets like we do every time. This is the Bitcoin testing new highs or closing the new highs. 108. What's the all-time high? Oh yeah, okay, we're a bit far off, but yeah, definitely some press action. This was the V-shape drop we saw over the past few on Friday. Now it's going up. So yeah, Bitcoin is definitely doing great. Is this something that you are paying attention to the Bitcoin price at all, Rosalie, or are you more?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I usually have my notifications on. Yeah,
Mhm.
I gotta just make sure I keep buying more when it's a little lower. I tend to just check when it's got like new highs, and I'm like, oh no, too late.
I mean, this is how the apps get you. It's like, yes, of course, you never hear about Coinbase, but it only tell you when, hey, FOMO kick is kicking in. You have 7% gain in XYZ. I think Ripple was one that I got a notification from over the weekend, where I don't know what the.
Yeah,
Um,
maybe it was top trading token. They always send me those.
oh yeah, okay. So Bitcoin, somewhat of a stable, but maybe on the upswing. ETH seems to be stable. Speaking of Ripple, might have just been kind of that hike, but Ripple is. I don't know. Yeah, that's what I don't know if you followed, but people were mentioning that Ripple was in line for buying Circle prior to the IPO, and I think when the IPO opened, it was higher than what Ripple had paid. So it was kind of a people thought it was expensive when they made the offer, but it was kind of a fair assessment. It seems. Yeah, that might be the only reason why, or right, people would trade Ripple, but USDC flat as always. So overall, nothing is earth shattering. Maybe some upswing on the last few minutes. Hyperliquid is definitely one of the harder coins here. We don't see this often. Anything that's sustainably in the green. Have you looked into Hyperliquid yourself or tried to trade it? Um,
No, I just check out their platform, but not the token itself.
yeah, I mean it's a neat platform for sure for perps trading. Again, I think the team behind it is again part of them doing the market making, so they know very well what they're doing. It's been kind of in a rip, definitely new time high, all time highs and new highs, I guess, over the past few weeks. But yeah, definitely one of the better success story, of course, of all the protocols out there. But yeah, so that's kind of the markets. Uh, let's have a look at the interns portfolio. So a lot of what we do is to use the Panoptic interface to create some trades. Again, this is we're in five markets. We can spy on the intern, but We're in multiple markets, but each one has one to two positions. It's not meant to be trying to kind of spray to all possible markets, but try to be strategic as to why we do this. Uh, we're up on the whole portfolio. Most of the markets are up as well. We got hit in ETH USDC, but the trades we've put on are definitely paying off. So yeah, in your case, is there one market that you want to look at first, and when we go to the in terms of
Yeah,
trade?
I mean, we could start with ECUSDC. I'm also very curious about the Bitcoin trades as well.
Yeah, two trades, both of them up about 25 and $30. Again, we're using one quarter of our buying power. So we kind of have maybe 5,000 worth of buying power. We use a quarter of it. So that maybe 1,200. We're definitely up for both of them. That might be one where we could even allocate a bit more.
Mhm.
But it's a short put and a call spread. Both of them are positive. If there's one that you want to look at first, again, and one is up 10%. Actually, this one is up 10%. This is interesting. So a lot of what we do is to create strategies which have a higher, maybe a high probability of profit, so that we are maybe right 6 or 7 times out of 10. And that changes the entry point. It's not like a perp where you want to go 100x overnight. You want to have something that is weekly to monthly timescales. This one has been open for 20 days. But yeah, we want to stack the win if you want. Create some strategies which are more than likely to be profitable. So yes, in this case, this is the P&L chart on the right. These are the numbers. Anything you want to walk us through for that position here?
Yeah, I mean, this looks great. We're earning a lot of premia and profiting from the upside move. It's only like seemed to move a little bit recently. We're still kind of in that slope area um,
Yeah.
before we kind of go delta neutral on
So
there.
so
But
this
yeah,
this is definitely a position which was positive delta bullish in construction, but the price moved up by I don't know $50. So it's not as if it was a large price move. The bulk of our returns is in the fees here, so we're earning $25, $26 worth of fees, and on top of that we have an extra I don't know $8 worth of price appreciation. So it's definitely a play where we have mostly got our returns from the fees themselves. Uh, and then and yeah, this is a good position if you're a Uniswap LP. And I think that that's the title of this show, is just like the payoff that we see here. It's the payoff of a Uniswap LP position. And when you deal with these positions, you'll normally worried about impermanent loss. This is one of those where if the price were to go down back to 1,800, 1,500, even lower, then you're in pure impermanent loss territory, because you started with two assets, ETH and USDC. Now you're stuck with only ETH, and it's losing quite a bit in that very, very scary straight line. So that's kind of one way to see this. This is a put option. It's a Uniswap LP position. When we set it up, and this is kind of the key point, we try to reduce the risks. And one of the ways we reduce this risk is to have a low delta position, which is kind of in that flat part here of the portfolio, so that if you look at the slope, it's actually quite almost straight when you have this position here. And that's when we can now have a much smaller impact by price action. So this is quasi delta neutral. And now you know the interface. So can you tell us about the delta of that position and maybe what it means when you think about delta in terms of options trading?
yeah, definitely. So the delta is I can't read that. Is it
Point
30,
26.
26? Okay. Yeah, so that gives us 26% chance of being wrong and quite high, almost 70% chance of being right.
Yeah. So the delta from the pure kind of geometric standpoint is the slope of
Mhm.
that curve. And this is, in this case, 26%. So every price move up by $1, you gain 26 cents. If it goes down by $1, you lose 26 cents. So this is kind of a slightly better trade off, because you have returns from being in range, but then the slope is lower risk. You have kind of maybe one quarter of the risk. So that's kind of one way to interpret delta. So in that case, 26 delta, quarter of risk. This is good. We have kind of it's not quite delta neutral, but it's much lower than buying the ETH outright. This position is zero point 0.5 ETH. But that's the first kind of interpretation. But yes, as Rosalie said, in the world of options, in the world of market making, TradFi options as well, Delta has kind of this special role, almost like a magic role in options market making, is the delta value. If you assume everything is right about Black Scholes and maybe the randomness of markets, the delta is a probability. In that case, 26.26% is also probability. In this case, 26% chance of being wrong, of being in the money. In that case, this is a put. If we were to trust that this is a monthly option and it has a 26 delta, it means that there's a 26% chance that we'll go down below the strike, be in a situation where you lose and have a lot of impermanent loss. And the flip side is that there's a 74% chance that you're right. It's going to go up, or at least not move much beyond that. And you're collecting fees. And that's kind of the crux of these bets, which is you can trade a trade that's 60%, 70%, 90% chance of being correct. Try this with meme coins. Yeah, what's your how much? What's the probability of being successful in meme coins? If you trade meme coins, do you think, Rosalie?
Oh, probably like being successful, like 1%. I'm not sure.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, exactly. And there's numbers, and you look at even the like Pump.fun, all of these meme coin launchers, like point 0.1, like a handful of traders make it big. Most people lose. So the goal of options, and in that case, Uniswap LPing, is to be on the right side of the probability, being 70% chance of being right. It's actually a pretty safe and good bet. And in that case, we make the bulk of our money from fees being accumulated as opposed to price action. So you're almost insensitive to price action. You just say, I want to be right 75% of the time, or wrong, limit the chance you're wrong so that you have actually a much higher chance of being kind of in the green or making money. And yeah, in that case, 26% chance. This is also where I would also trade myself when I would trade it on between 20 and 30% chance of being right. And the more you wait, the more this probability kind of increases because you're collecting fees as well. So in reality, now the new break-even point is 2,300, and the more we wait, it could go down to 22. The goal is to even have the break-even point being so that even if you're out of range, you are in the green. But that may take a while. But yeah, this is kind of one of the best protection against impermanent loss is to put the odds in your favor to create at setup a trade which has a much higher probability of profit than trying to be in the middle, trying to be out of range, trying to kind of time the market. You just have to create this in a positive even mind, with a high probability of profit.
Yeah. I think this trade looks pretty good. I think 22 days so far. There's still maybe some slope left to juice, but I think it might also be okay to close it already.
Yeah, that might be one where the trade management also is a huge component of how to be successful. Could be an LP or a Uniswap LP or a trader. Uh, so this is 20 days into it. It's a monthly option. It seems to be paying off, and we're almost back to the initial price. The only reason why I would maybe change the close and redeploy is that if your assumptions changed, and this was kind of a bullish to neutral, neutral to bullish take, I think we had this as being the floor, going to be 1800 maybe. So you still have kind of a floor, which is even though you were to go back, we don't think it's going to go lower than that. So maybe the question is your has your assumption changed in terms of price action between 20 days ago and now? Are still neutral to bullish, or it flipped on you bearish now?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm still more bullish on it. I'm sure that now, since the price has gone up a little bit, maybe we'll see some downward trends again before it goes up. So maybe something where we could profit from volatility would also be helpful in this pool in the market. But yeah, I think for now it might make sense to just close this position and yeah, relocate funds.
Okay, so maybe let's do it now. Yeah, the we're gonna go on the trade. So we'll ask intern to close this one. There might be also a better trade that has slightly more juice to it in terms of kind of the multiplier or the Vega. But yes, in this case, we can simply go back to the trade page. In your case, are you still bullish, bearish, neutral on the price of ETH?
I think I'm fairly bullish on it right now, but yeah, like I mentioned, I think it might go down a little bit before it goes back up. So
Okay. So would you want to maybe buy protection to protecting this down, or you just want to, as you say, harvest volatility and be able to sustain some what looks like paper loss, but then if it reverts, it's fine.
yeah, I think I would want to look at some more delta neutral positions.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. So there's a strategy for everyone. You can be bullish using options. You can be bearish as well. You can be neutral. In that case, we can look at a strategy which has paid off most of the time, but unfortunately, when it went wrong, the straddles we've created have been the ones causing the most losses. But here, this is what we do. We have a two legs at the same time, and what was something that had no risk to the upside before, now may have risks on both sides. But what you gain is that you have this delta neutrality, meaning that you're in a flatter part. If the price moves 10%, your delta is zero in a way. You don't lose that much. You lose maybe 1 or 2%, which is great. We have double the capital efficiency, which is also great because you can combine two legs at the same time. Here, this is purely neutral. Again, I cannot be maybe more at the money than that. Uh, you said you still have a little bit of bearishness to you. So
Yeah,
how do
I
you
think
change this?
it'll go down before it'll go up, but yeah, I think this range looks pretty good. I don't think it'll go up to that much, but I mean that's still an okay range.
Yeah, I mean, the 2000 to 3300 is a wide range. The way that we kind of compute those range is that we say, okay, given that this is starting in the middle, how long would you have to wait to actually see the price exit this? And it's like the geometric Brown in motion, maybe like 68% of the time it happens within a month. So that's kind of where we have this. So we could still be a bit lower if you want.
If we have less wide of a range, would we be able
Hmm.
to earn more in a shorter period of time if
Yes.
it stays there? Yeah.
Yes. And maybe I can talk about my here's how I feel about the market. This is, and maybe this is the daily. This is the price action over the past 6 months now, and it's been brutal on the way down. And but what we see is that there's always a stable period between what looks like kind of violent moves, and it's not always like that. But there's always some sideways action, big moves, sideways actions. And what I kind of feel now is that we've been in this sideways action for quite a while, and it's harder to predict. But my hunch is that there's more chance that we'll go up or down very violently than we keep doing the same for the next week. And if you ask me next week and 2 weeks and 3 weeks from now, the more we wait, the more I feel like we're due for a large correction. So that 1 week, which is a shorter time scale, I would probably not recommend it, at least if it were my trading, because we've been in that range for kind of long time. And again, when it moves very suddenly. So I
Right, and
would,
we're not sure if it'll move up or down,
it's
but
like,
yeah.
and the way this works is that there's a huge move. People are scared. People pull liquidity out. There's less trading. There's less liquidity. More trading. The volatility increases, and then people slowly put it back, put it back, put it back, put it back. And at some point, you get to a point where I'm almost tempted to remove it to de-risk a little bit because it's been so stable. So maybe that's kind of a flywheel effect. But if there's less liquidity because people are scared of the unknown, then now you have a slightly higher chance of being seeing these large volatility moves. So again, long story short, I would reserve the 1 week or the shorter timed one after a big move. Could be a few days after when you see it stabilize. It's a good time to capitalize on it. Now that we've been in this regime for a month, then yeah, I'm a bit worried that we'll see a huge move or not. Again, we can change the range. It can be extremely small a day, and you can imagine that you can make a lot of money in a day. But if it moves quite quickly, you can also lose. So The
Yeah.
weekly to monthly is just the white width. So I am also a bit yeah, cautious of say using the weekly, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah. I think these ones have a little bit of a multiplier as well, so that'll help us with the fees.
Yes, exactly. And again, remember the I mean, impermanent loss is the price moving against you, and it's actually very scary. Like 95% of people we talk to, and they say, "What's your experience with LPing?" They say, "I am scared of impermanent loss." So one strategy is to be neutral. Yet having two legs, having this flat part where if you're in range, now you don't have capital exposure, and that is less worrisome than having all the capital exposure on one side and no risk on the outside. So trade this construction of the trade makes it easier to have a less risk, but also the second one is the fees have to be worth it. If you provide liquidity, the fees you collect has to be enough for you to kind of make it your while. And in that specific case, we're in Uniswap, but we're kind of at this options layer, and you deploy liquidity in Panoptic. This goes into Uniswap, but these two legs earn more fees than the same positions deployed through Uniswap directly. This one earns 4% on the call side, 8% on the put side, averages out to 6%. 6% more may not seem like much, but if you're consistently ahead, 6%, then over time you'll be sustainably better off than 1x, which is kind of realized volatility. So 2520 has some buying activity. There's people buying on the other side, and it's not one of you, which is fine. Sometimes you buy against yourself. You don't want to do this, but this is good. So it's also slightly bearish too. So I mean, the delta is a slightly small, like 12%. But yeah, that might
Okay. Yeah.
be
This looks good. Um. Yeah.
all right. And then so that intern doesn't forget, we can paste this again. This is as simple as clicking on a link. You can actually see the same trade that we're constructing here, and then you can now go out on the app and create it yourself. So that's yeah, I like it. We close this successful put option, create a more neutral position, collect fees along the way. Yes, very good, very good. Yes, you wanted to look at the sorry, the Bitcoin trade, I believe, right? So this is back
Yes.
to the portfolio. Um, you had let's look in the USD term. Bitcoin USDC or Bitcoin ETH?
I mean, we could look at both, but I think Bitcoin USDC.
Okay. So this is one position that we opened on Friday.
Hmm.
There's another one open for 11 days. This is a put option, so it's bullish on the price of Bitcoin. So I think it did move, so we're in the green. Perfect. This one is also a strangle, which is delta neutral. Let's have a look. This is the new position that we opened up on Friday. Uh, yeah, there we go. Oh, conditions changed a little bit. But yeah, do you remember what was the setup for that trade?
Yeah, I think this was a bullish to delta neutral position, right? Range bound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was one when we set it up, the multiplier was quite high, meaning
Oh.
that we had, I think, 5 or 6% more. And then now, unfortunately, the other side has closed their longs. So both of them are back to earning 1x the fees, which is fine. But yeah, the initial setup was to capitalize on that slight market inefficiency of having one strike earning a bit more. But the break-even points are still between 93K and 125K. It was a bit bullish, and we did see price action. Again, we started here, wanted the price to go up. It did go up, which is great. It's only 2 days, so there's not much more to it. But yeah, um, this is something to be mindful. When you set up a trade, you may be at a higher multiplier, but then other people do what they want. They can close their options and stop paying you extra because they're not buying anymore. That could explain why we have a slightly lower the multiplier is like 2-1 in that case.
Yeah, okay. I think, yeah, it's still really early on. There could be more buyers coming in sometime soon with recent action. So,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, maybe the buyers, we have a competition on that same market, CBBTC on base. Uh, Maybe the cheap fees made it so that people wanted to go on base instead, so they stopped buying here and are buying on base. But yeah, I agree with you. There's starting the position. It's not something that we have to kind of worry about 2 days in. We're right in a way. We're not wrong yet, so we can just keep it open. All right, and let's look at the BTC ETH, which is also a
Yes, the
another
ratio.
trade. This one is 11 days, a bit longer. It's also a delta neutral. We aim. Oh yeah, and again, the directionality seems to be right. But yes, can you tell me what the setup looks like?
Wow, this looks great. Yeah, I think this was definitely bullish on the ratio that Bitcoin will outperform ETH, but a little bit neutral as well, since the ratio has been quite stable. And yeah, it looks like we're making some extra spread on both of our legs at
It's
the moment.
true.
So that's nice.
Yeah. So this is again, when you trade options, you can be directional, but this one was a slightly bearish, mostly neutral, slightly bearish. But then that bearish sentiment is coming true because if you see a thin line, we started the price was 0.025. Now it's 0.023 almost. That adds a lot of capital appreciation. And at the same time, we're earning fees. Every block that we're trading, we earn a fee. Let's see if this works. We can compare, because there's a multiplier now, it's going to be a bit different, but we can compare the same position on Uniswap. How much fees would it collect compared to the one that we have here? Yeah, okay, let's see. Yeah, all right. So this might be busy, but on the top, we show the fees accumulating over time on Panoptic. If you see the logo. At the bottom, same thing, but on Uniswap V3. So we look at the same pool, if you want, same position. But because we're in Panoptic and because people are buying options, we're making a tiny bit more again. Hopefully, you can see, but the Uniswap side has earned 0.0261 of ETH. The Panoptic side has earned 276. So again, 15.015. This is probably like 6%, 7%, which may be in line with what we see. But we do see it here. Same position minted on Panoptic versus the one minted on Uniswap. You earn more on Panoptic, and we now see this kind of the trace over time.
Yeah, this looks really interesting. Yeah, if we take a look at the ratio itself, um, I wonder if anything happened over the weekend to kind of change the price of the ratio.
Yeah, I mean the big move we saw, I think, on Friday. Typically, you see a slope. There's not much activity here, unfortunately, so I can imagine that the ratio hasn't moved. But yes, the ratio moving suddenly sometimes creates a slightly more active kind of trading environment. And I think we meant it here near the top of that local time did go down. This is great, but that extreme movement here typically creates lots of fees in a short amount of time, and this is what we see maybe on that slope. So again, both of those price action is fine, but the other one is how much fees you collect are also kind of very interesting. So it's one of those, again, still working for us. 11 days in, kind of earning quite a bit of fees. I would not touch this as well. This is a monthly option as well, so we may have to wait a few more, kind of couple of weeks even to see it fully rise itself. But yeah, this is a good trade.
This looks great. So, yeah, the only kind of thing that might happen is if there's a big upwards price move in ETH, right? Where we might have to revisit this.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and ETH, not just ETH, but also ETH to overperform Bitcoin. And
Yeah.
if we look at the charts just now, it seems that maybe Bitcoin is going up 2%, whereas ETH is staying stable. So that's kind of is helping us a little bit. Yeah, the ratios. It's not tricky. It's just a slightly different setup and thinking. But yeah, this one seems to be also doing pretty well.
Great.
And maybe that's it. I guess the other trades we have Ticker Bitcoin and also Eigen. Eigen has been open for a long time, 60 days.
Yeah, they look doing so well. I wonder if maybe, yeah, it's time to.
Look at this, 100% increase in the eigen position in 58 days. So again, we were somewhat lucky that the price stays stable, but we changed. Oh yeah, off the charts. We changed. We changed the way that we compute P&L. It's not based on the capital control, but rather the position requirement. So going, yeah, this is actually now I would definitely say we should close this one, but this is not something we've seen often actually. Um, that much green. So this is a straddle that we created, two positions almost right on top of each other. Uh, we're in range for the call side, out of range for the put side. So we may be earning half the fees, so which is kind of not optimal, but still good. Uh, but yeah, this one has earned so many fees that even if the price were to go half of it overnight or double overnight, would still be in profits.
Wow,
Made
nice.
so much fees that the break even are super large. And this does not happen all the time, but it's because the price has been quite stable, I'm sure. Now it seems to be going up, so maybe Eigen has some juice in it and it moves up, but it's the same for the past days. We've been in range the whole time. In that case, we're just kind of collecting fees. And yes, what we had to put up as collateral was point zero 0.02 ETH. We earn more than that in fees. So this is doubly successful. I don't know if you have a different opinion on the ratio, but unless we think the ratio should change, we could even keep it on and then even wait to close
Yeah,
it.
I mean, we could, but yeah, I mean, there's really nothing that looks dangerous about this.
The
No, so we can just keep it on, but maybe we should redeploy it as well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, remember this is impermanent loss territory as well. If you leave this range, then you are in the worst case scenario, which is impermanent loss. But because we earn so many fees, it's not even gonna be a loss because we have such a big offset. So could be eigen, could be meme coins, could be a lot of pools. We don't see this often in ETH and BTC because there's too much liquidity almost. There's an oversupply of liquidity. In these um, side markets, there is definitely room for improvement on the liquidity side, and that specific position now is actually quite good. Again, in my days of trading meme coins, sometimes you achieve this in a couple of weeks, but yeah, that was my goal as well, to get as much fees, capitalizing on that lack of liquidity. And yes, impermanent loss is happening, but because we earn so many fees, it's like a free trade. We don't even have to worry about it anymore.
Awesome. Yeah, maybe time to close this
Yeah.
trade and try again.
All right. So I'll some notes for me, but intern as well. Close close Eigen, and maybe we'll open up a new one. Let's and these two similar. This one is a call, but it's fine. Ticker Bitcoin as well. Another meme. This one maybe not up as much, but it's only been 11 days. Uh, but yeah, pretty
Okay.
close to the starting point.
Yeah.
The contract is 1,500 Bitcoin, ticket Bitcoin that is. But yeah, this is also where it's delta neutral. We don't want the price to move too much, and it hasn't really, which is what we see on the price. But also, even if it were to move, we're still almost to the point where uh, the green region kind of is wider than the range that we have positions on. So if we're a bit more patient, even could be in a few days, 2 or 3 days, I would imagine that we will be covered by any move that would breach the ranges because we have so much fees collected.
Awesome. Yeah, this looks great as well.
All right, take your Bitcoin on for the win again. This is good. So I think that's it. Is there any market maybe or anything you want to look at on the Panoptic interface, or this is good for now?
I think this is good for now. I'm definitely curious on the trading competition on base as well. Hopefully, intern will get in there as well. And yeah, we've been seeing a lot of steady price movement there. So, not too much excitement as on 8th for the last trading competition, but it's still early. We're running it till the end of June. And so, there's still a lot that can happen in the meantime.
And they definitely the even the small Bitcoin price move we're seeing now, I guess, which is kind of happening as we speak from 105 to 108, buying call options being kind of the short put maybe would be where you could make some money in a quick manner if you want to trade directionally. And yeah, no, very excited. I think the composition is a way on base, of course, to make it that people can see the interface, $100 minimum deposits, that it won't necessarily kind of bankrupt you, hopefully not. And that's just kind of a way to get exposure, try to trade, try to win one of the prizes, but still doing while having fun. So
Yes, awesome.
okay, I think that's it as well. So fantastic, great trades for intern. Definitely has some wins here. So again, we want to hit a sweet spot of not having a coin flip or a casino where we have 10% chance of maybe making 10x. Want to be 75% chance of making 1.5x. So there's a good threshold, a good trade-off. If you want to fight impermanent loss, it's not just about being in range, but rather also trade setup. Being delta neutral is definitely the way. But yeah, this is actually pretty good. Again, happy to see intern back to trading and managing. We do this 3 times a week because you don't need to do it every day, every hour. You can do it in a way that's slower paced. No need to stress about price moves because we're so wide. But overall, when something is work for us, then I mean, closing the position is a good skill to have as well.
Yeah, definitely. I'm also curious to see Hyperliquid. I'm not sure what chain the token is on, but maybe that would be something interesting to check out as
Yeah,
well.
no, I mean, we have some things brewing, but yeah, the problem with a lot of tokens is that you cannot trade them. Maybe there could be centralized exchanges, but if it's a DEX, if it's something that needs to be on chain, you don't want to bridge your coins to whatever exchange and have the tokens be there, then it's quite difficult. And I think now I'm looking quickly, but there almost is no liquidity elsewhere. Only on Hyperliquid you can trade the Hype token
Mm.
or centralized exchanges. So maybe we have to change this, but that's kind of a weird system. But yeah, the we want to have the options be available on all the coins, also being able to trade DEX liquidity, and this is kind of goes hand in hand with open optic processes. So very interesting. Maybe we'll try to set up a pool for Hype for sure when it gets to mainnet or base or maybe layer two.
Sounds great.
All right, so I think that's it. Thanks very much, everyone. Yeah,